Let me, hello? Oh, there we go. Let me for a second time thank Larry and ATU, school bus workers, the union, the leaders, and above all, thank the members of that union for taking on this struggle. There are such great similarities between what you're going through now and what those 1,300 sanitation workers went through in Memphis, Tennessee. For me, Memphis was a life-altering experience. And to have the responsibility for negotiating the agreement, mobilizing the community, and trying to understand how when folks have had enough, they have had enough. So there was nothing that I could say or do. They were determined to really fight for a new and different life. Certainly the death of Dr. King changed all of us. Memphis was one of the most emotional experiences I have ever had. There are great similarities between, again, Memphis and today. This is a battle between the needy and the greedy. And it is unreasonable to assume and expect folks to work a lifetime and not enjoy the fruits of their labor. And the union and its role among its members is to be that bridge that gives you and takes you over all the struggles that you're confronted with. So the local union leadership who have come into this battle, I admire you and your courage, because it will take courage, as it did in Memphis, to get the power structure. There's a great similarity between this mayor and that mayor in Memphis. I mean, it needs to be said. To stand on some silly principle and yet see people suffer makes no sense. You're not asking for a handout. You're not asking for anything other than to be treated fairly, to allow your agreements of years and years and years to continue so that you can enjoy the benefits. The parents of children, I suspect they're supportive of the workers' efforts. And if they don't, we've got to make them understand what this struggle is all about. You know, Mayor Loeb, his mission in life was to prove that he was right. He went to his grave arguing that he was right, not understanding that the lives of hundreds and hundreds of people were in his control, and he missed the boat. The sons and daughters of those striking workers now are enjoying a better life. That was what the struggle was all about. It was about a fight for respect, a fight for dignity, to be treated as a human being, because all we have as workers is our labor. And it ought to be dealt with in a fair manner. We ought to be paid decently for what we do. We give a good day's work for a good day's pay. It's as simple as that. But the union movement all across the South has signaled a new turn, just like November of last year signaled a new turn. And unless we stand by our local leaders, unless we stand by our national leaders to make our union stronger, workers across this country will be exposed to just the power of greed. And so for those members of the city council who were here, we would certainly hope that you would act differently than those members of the city council in Memphis, Tennessee, because you have the ability. You have the ability to make decisions about fairness. It's not about balancing the books. It's about treating workers who work for a living, treating them fairly and with respect and with dignity. I would make one other point, and then I'll shut up and turn to somebody else. The riots that you saw in this film were not triggered by militant invaders. They were triggered by J. Edgar Hoover. They were triggered by the FBI, who saw the fight in Memphis in the mind of J. Edgar Hoover was a takeover of the U.S. government, starting with the Sanitation Department of Memphis, Tennessee. If you ever heard anything as silly as that. The people who broke the windows and started the riots, these were people in the employ of J. Edgar Hoover. And those of you who really want to follow this, go back to the 1969 Senator Church hearings, and all of this information is put on the table about the effort to undermine Dr. King. Now, let me say one other thing. There is no way that I will ever believe that James Earl Ray killed Dr. King by himself. Just didn't happen. So the struggle for workers' rights is just integral to the struggle for trade union rights. They're one and the same. Thank you.